animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha. And it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kaine. These are not alphas. Trump
Really interesting.
is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person. Just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away.
It seems the Democrats have been paying close attention. And now, they're seriously eyeing Tim Walz as a potential challenger to Donald Trump. Why? Because Trump's dominant alpha persona continues to resonate with a significant portion of the American electorate. The DNC appears to be searching for a counterforce, someone with executive experience, composure, and a no-nonsense attitude. Enter Tim Walz. You'd think Bill Maher might support this move, especially after his recent criticism of the party for elevating more divisive figures like AOC. But instead, Maher wasn't buying it. In fact, he sharpened his critique even further, slamming the DNC for believing Walz could stand toe-to-toe with Trump. Don't take my word for it. Watch this clip and see for yourself.
Have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
No, probably not.
And it's not Tim, the other Tim who ran.
Kane?
Tim Kaine. These are not alphas. It's like this thing of like, let's get a woman and then a docile man who's in every commercial where he's the asshole while mom takes care of business. You know, that's not a message that makes the tribe go, who is strong? Who's strong? Who's strong? Tim Walz. No. Oh, give me a rock. I need to kill myself because Tim Walz. You know, that you gotta appeal to people at a sort of post-civilization stage where we're kind of at on a primal level.
That was a brutal takedown, and honestly, it's hard to argue with it. Who actually believes Tim Walz is the answer to Trump? Even Bill Maher, a die-hard Democrat and longtime Trump critic, isn't convinced. He didn't hold back, bluntly declaring that Walz doesn't stand a chance. Maher even said he'd rather see a female-led ticket than back Walz, because, in his words, the guy doesn't even qualify as a beta male. And Maher didn't stop there. He kept the heat on, delivering even more ruthless jabs at Walz and the DNC's desperation to find a Trump foil.
Message, and then you find, you find the messenger. No, but that's how it works for Trump.
That's the worst thing the Democrats always say. Message, message. Yeah, first of all, they did and they don't like it. Second of all, they don't give a shit. It's not about the message. Trump changes his message from day to day. Tariffs everywhere, tariffs nowhere.
Those are policy
It doesn't
decisions.
matter. But they don't care about policy.
His
They
message-
don't understand it. His message is, I'm me, I'm strong, and I'm daddy. You know, they're on this daddy thing, you know, and people want a daddy. You know, Tucker Carlson, that whole thing, you've heard that thing about daddy came home and you need a spanking. And I'm like, this is getting a little weird, Mrs. Robinson. You know, daddy, but you know what? That's what works and that's what people respond to. They don't know the issues. They don't know the facts.
I agree.
And they have no interest in learning about them. They're like an animal. They're instinctive. Like, I smell fear or I smell alpha. And they smell alpha. And Democrats have to come up with an alpha.
Bill Maher was absolutely savage in his takedown of Tim Walz and whatever you want to call his campaign. Be honest. Do any of you actually remember what Walz's message was? Because I sure don't. If you do, drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. Maher made a valid point. America didn't rally behind Trump because of a finely tuned policy platform. They rallied around the energy, the dominance, the unapologetic swagger. It wasn't about proposals, it was about presence. At a time when the country craved strength on the global stage, Trump brought a raw, masculine bravado that, like it or not, struck a nerve. Maher admits he admired Trump's personality, but what he says next about Trump, that's the part that might just leave Democrats stunned.
Interesting.
Is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person. Just as a politician, just understanding that always lean in to being more who you are, the people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. And that kind of shit, nobody else does it.
Love him or hate him, Trump is, without question, one of the most effective politicians of our time. Set aside the policies and personal opinions. Just in terms of raw political instinct, he gets it. He leans fully into who he is, never flinching, never faking it. And that's the key. Most voters aren't dissecting every policy detail, but they can spot a phony from a mile away. Trump's power isn't in his polish. It's in his authenticity, however messy or controversial it may be. That kind of unapologetic self-branding, no one else in the game does it like he does.
And do that, and sometimes kind of make me go, oh man, I gotta give it up. Like when he did that thing where the guy came in from the Taliban and he said, this is an aerial picture of your house. If during our withdrawal, one American is hurt, just know I know where you live. I was like, oh, can we just play the music now? Because I don't care, it's Donald Trump and he's the worst person ever, blah, blah, blah. I fucking love that. One time they were doing something was going on with, and he said, you know what? When you come after New York, you gotta go through me. It's like, oh, hometown boy. You know, he has those moments that no other politician has. And the Democrats have to find that guy.
Bill Maher didn't pull any punches. He sees Tim Walz as the classic political phony, a guy trying to straddle every issue and, in the end, standing for nothing. In Maher's eyes, that's exactly the problem. Because when you stack Walz next to Donald Trump, the contrast couldn't be sharper. Like him or loathe him, Trump is the real deal. No filter, no script. What you see is what you get. He speaks his mind, unvarnished and unapologetic. And that kind of raw authenticity, it hits home for millions of Americans. Meanwhile, Walz's record tells a different story, one riddled with contradictions and political double talk. Remember his stance on COVID lockdowns. He preached follow the science while attending maskless indoor events himself. He claimed Minnesota's economy was thriving, yet the state faced a major budget shortfall, and during the George Floyd riots, his messaging swung wildly, condemning violence one moment, rationalizing it the next. It's no surprise Maher isn't buying what Walz is selling. But what is surprising? Maher actually bought into Trump's presidency, and here's what.
Is it better than anybody?
Trump does, and he started with a rejection principle. What took him from being a joke to being a messenger was two things. One that was really missed in the media, and I was just fortunate to be covering the rallies, so I saw it sooner. We forgot how powerful celebrity is in the American psyche, and that Trump being a TV star, see, I never saw him as a TV star because I've just known him my whole life.
Not just a TV star, but one who played a boss.
Yes, and that apprentice is really everybody wanted to be him. Now, maybe not certain aspects of his personality, but the money, the power, the agency. So they missed that. But when he really turned was, I know who you hate and I know what you hate because they all come to me and I hate them too and I will make them pay.
The Democrats are in a bind. They desperately need a candidate who can channel the same energy, charisma, and visceral connection that Trump ignites in his base. But here's the billion-dollar problem. Their current lineup either pushes away moderates or fails to fire up their core, and then came the jaw-dropper. Did you catch Bill Maher's unexpected moment of admiration for Donald Trump? Some might brush it off as a slip of the tongue, or blame it on whatever Maher may have been indulging in that night. But I'd argue it wasn't a fluke at all. It was Maher speaking unfiltered truth. Because substances don't invent opinions, they just lower the guardrails. What came through wasn't support for Trump's character, but a reluctant respect for his impact, his staying power, and his ability to dominate the political spotlight like no one else. That's the core issue. Trump's presence is unmatched, and so far, the left hasn't found anyone who can rival it. Until they do, they're not just battling Trump. They're battling the vacuum he continues to fill.
That Trump was ever selling himself as a cure is bullshit. He was selling himself as a virus. I will get into the political corpus and I will make it sick. And that is what sustains him, is that when the media comes after him for something, people are like, yeah, but you're kind of part of what I hate. And he's fighting what I hate. oh yeah, but he's this and that. That's what you say. But you're like that too. Everybody is, and the people who you like are like that too, but you're only going after him.
Chris Cuomo nailed it. Donald Trump didn't just stumble into political power. He read the room. He sensed the deep frustration brewing among everyday Americans. Weariness with radical policies, cultural overreach, economic instability, and an identity-obsessed narrative pushed by the far left. And instead of backing away, Trump leaned in. He saw the disconnect between elite rhetoric and real-world concerns, and he seized the opportunity with calculated precision. Using his celebrity platform, he turned campaign rallies into cultural spectacles, drawing massive crowds not just for the show, but for the message. It wasn't all flash. He spoke directly to those who felt the country was spiraling, promising to roll back the chaos, restore order, and revive values many believed were under assault in the Biden era. Whether you love him or loathe him, Trump tapped into something undeniably real, a raw, emotional current that still resonates. And that's exactly why he remains a dominant force in American politics.
Understand their hate. A lot of what they hate, I hate too.
Yeah, I get it.
But I just won't go, but I also have a rational mind.
Yes.
So I don't go all the way to then this is, because it is worse to me.
Right.
What, if you don't really believe in the secession of power, if you don't really believe in the emergency of climate change, I can't get on board with you. But yeah, the political instincts, the connection with people. I mean, people are always saying, I'm saying, it's my editorial this Friday about Republicans being North Korean with their leader, but why? The reason why that they're so afraid of him is that they know he has a connection. If you're a congressman, a senator, he has a connection with my voters that I do not have.
Nope. He will beat you.
I do not have that connection.
He will primary you, and more often than not, you will lose.
Trump's path to power is a case study in political strategy that will be dissected in classrooms for decades. Whether you admire him or despise him, there's no denying it was a brilliant move. He didn't play by the usual political rules. He tore the rulebook apart. Rather than kowtowing to the establishment or softening his message to please the media, Trump did the exact opposite. He went against the grain, choosing a path that many experts warned was political suicide. But in flipping the system on its head, he changed the game. While others played it safe, he embraced controversy, wielded blunt, unapologetic rhetoric, and spoke straight to the frustrations of working-class Americans. His message wasn't polished. It was raw, real, and it struck a chord with millions. Trump didn't just win votes. He ignited a movement. And that movement wasn't built on conventional campaign tactics. It was powered by authenticity, defiance, and a keen sense of what the American people truly crave.
Why every Republican is like, you're the alpha, that like animals do.
The inflection moment for me, and this was like, probably, I don't know, right now is a little bit of a competition with how the Democrats are handling this. But when I heard people on TV suggest that he hadn't been shot at and that the bullet didn't hit him.
Oh, I did that bit in my special. It's so ridiculous.
It was so, I was like, wow, they've really lost the fucking plot. This guy just got shot in the head. I called him. I was so embarrassed by how he handled it.
He did not get shot in the head, Chris. He got nicked in the ear.
Listen, if it was your ear, you would say, I got shot in the head.
He did not get shot in the head. If he had, this country would probably be in a civil war right now.
I know.